Who pops into your mind when you hear the name Charlie Puth? For many, he's a major artist and a TikTok sensation, known for chart-topping hits like Attention and See You Again, which have racked up over 1 billion views on YouTube. At one point, it felt like his career would never slow down. Back in 2015, See You Again wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural moment, skyrocketing him to global stardom. By the early 2000s and 20s, he seemed to have cracked the TikTok code, with his album going viral on the platform. Yet, despite these massive highs, Charlie Puth has recently been facing a wave of hate and backlash like never before. The reasons behind this sudden shift? Strange, shocking, and downright bizarre. Lately, Charlie has been bombarded with a flood of negative comments on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Thousands of users have chimed in, questioning, did he mess up somehow? Why is everyone saying he fell off? Is he really as bad as they claim? One thing is undeniable. Charlie Puth is a genius when it comes to music and marketing. He's always been ahead of the curve, adapting to new trends like a pro. When TikTok exploded during the pandemic, he wasted no time jumping on the bandwagon. He even created innovative, attention-grabbing content to promote his music. Remember that viral clip where he flipped a light switch and claimed he turned its sound into a song? It blew up and earned him a ton of attention, even landing him spots on big-name shows. For a while, it all worked like magic. Charlie kept up with the times, even though he was older than most TikTok artists. His creative use of the platform helped him push his music to millions, and it paid off. His unique voice and clever promotions kept people hooked, and his album, heavily marketed on TikTok, became a hit. Of course, this wasn't Charlie's first rodeo with marketing his music. Back in 2015 and 2016, he was unstoppable, churning out hit after hit. I can vividly remember being in first grade and hearing See You Again on repeat. It was everywhere. It was practically the only song teachers played in class, probably because it didn't have any swearing. Honestly, I got sick of it, but looking back, that was Charlie's golden era. Songs like Attention, See You Again, and his duet with Selena Gomez, We Don't Talk Anymore, solidified him as a fan favorite. But nothing lasts forever. As the years passed, Charlie's music started to lose its grip on the spotlight. To stay relevant, he leaned heavily into TikTok. While this strategy brought viral moments and some decent album sales, it had a downside. TikTok is a double-edged sword. While it can give you massive exposure, it can also box you into the dreaded label of a TikTok artist. And for many, that label comes with a heavy dose of stigma. Take Charlie's light switch trend as an example. At first, people found it creative and fun, but it quickly morphed into something people ridiculed. Before long, commenters were calling it cringe and embarrassing. Social media was flooded with hate, with people saying things like, "You fell off" and "you suck." Today, many artists shy away from promoting their music on TikTok because of this stigma. Sure, some still take the risk, but the backlash can be brutal. For Charlie Puth, the combination of this stigma and constant criticism became impossible to ignore. Her singles? She refused to promote them on TikTok, calling it embarrassing. And let's face it, advertising music on TikTok has become something of a taboo. Why? Because for many, it just feels cringy. If you've been following this channel, you'll know I've talked about plenty of TikTok artists, and they all share the same glaring issue. Sure, going viral on TikTok seems easy, but here's the catch. Converting that fleeting fame into real album sales, or building a loyal fan base, that's a whole different story. People might love using a catchy snippet of a song for their TikTok videos, but convincing them to stick around and buy an entire album, that's a steep uphill battle. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not entirely a walk in the park to go viral on TikTok. Sure, you might gain millions of views in no time, but it comes at a price. Sometimes you have to give up your dignity, your image, or both. Take Ice Spice, for instance. She turned to TikTok for promotion through a publicity stunt steeped in drama. She dated someone else's boyfriend and got him to cheat. The backlash? Enormous. But the results? Even bigger. She racked up streams, and her song became the talk of the internet. She pulled a similar stunt with Central C, and guess what? It worked again. But here's the problem. Her reputation took a major hit. People started hating her more than ever. And honestly, Ice Spice probably saw it coming. After all, who's ever supported the cheater's side? That's almost unheard of. Now let's compare that to Charlie Puth. When TikTok was still relatively fresh, he started releasing fun, lighthearted videos to promote his music. But I'm not sure he fully understood the risks that came with using the platform. TikTok isn't like other apps. It's lightning fast. Trends burn out in an instant, and the same platform that propels you to fame can just as quickly turn against you. Hate spreads like wildfire here. Let me be clear. Sometimes creators deserve the backlash they get. But, in my opinion, Charlie Puth didn't deserve the sheer amount of hate he received. Creators like Zach King and Charlie have become easy targets simply because the internet decides, out of nowhere, that they're no longer worthy of their fame. Is it true that Charlie Puth hasn't had a massive hit since the early 2000s and 20s, or his iconic moments in 2015? Yes. But let's be honest. Is it even reasonable to expect someone to maintain that level of success indefinitely? Of course not. Sadly, the 8-year-olds flooding TikTok don't think that way. Instead, they fill his comment sections with remarks like, "You fell off," or "Let's leave Charlie Puth in 2020. Now that we've covered one major reason for the hate Charlie gets, let's move to the second. His music has grown repetitive. No, it's not Ice Spice level repetitive, where her songs practically sound the same. But Charlie's music does carry a certain sameness. While his songs are unique in some ways, many listeners have noticed a predictability to his work. For example, on the site Album of the Year, where users review music, a common complaint about Charlie's recent work is that his songs often follow the same themes. They're either about falling in love or falling out of it. While some fans still enjoy his music, others have grown bored or lost interest entirely. Personally, I don't feel that way. In fact, I was just on a run listening to his music, and I loved it. Then again, I've always had a soft spot for his style. I listen to such a mix of artists, sometimes even Ice Spice, and I just go with what fits my mood. That said, I do understand where the criticism comes from. A lot of Charlie's songs feel like they're cut from the same cloth, and his style hasn't evolved much in the last 5 years. In today's fast-paced world, where attention spans are shorter than ever, people get bored easily, especially when an artist relies heavily on TikTok for promotion. Here's the truth. It's entirely okay to love an artist and still recognize their flaws. I'm not saying Charlie Puth is bad. Far from it. His music is fun and creative, and some of his songs are incredible. But one undeniable flaw is that he hasn't stepped outside his comfort zone. His recent work feels like more of the same, and for some listeners, that's just not enough to keep their attention. Songs and artists rise and fall in the ever-shifting world of social media, and Charlie Puth is no exception. What makes things even harder for him is the strange trend spreading across TikTok and platforms like YouTube. This obsession with leaving people in 2024. You've probably heard of the Vex Bolts phenomenon, where people jokingly vowed to follow him and then unfollow by midnight in 2024. Sadly, this idea has been extended to Charlie, with comments flooding in suggesting we leave Charlie Puth in 2024. It only took a couple of years for users to grow tired of his advertising style and trends, redirecting their frustration toward his music. It's disappointing, but not entirely unexpected. Think about it. Can you name a single TikTok artist, or any artist who relies primarily on TikTok for promotion, that's still relevant 5 years later? It's nearly impossible. Social media thrives on short-term fame. Every month, someone new blows up, has 1 or 2 big hits, and then fades into the background. Longevity in this era feels more like a fantasy than a reality. I remember getting into arguments on TikTok, and Twitter too, and they were so exhausting. Some people on these platforms seem to act with the mental sharpness of an ant. I once debated someone who insisted that an influencer with just 2 million followers was a celebrity. I pushed back, explaining that true celebrities are the ones with paparazzi constantly chasing them, enormous mansions, personal security teams, and magazine covers devoted to their lives. Influencers don't fit that mold. Sure, I could understand why someone might disagree, but I felt confident in my perspective. Influencers often enjoy fleeting popularity, and within a month, they might see their views cut in half. That's just how social media operates now. It's incredibly easy to go viral, rake in millions of views, and feel like you're on top of the world. But maintaining that success, it's practically impossible. What complicates this further is how distorted people's ideas about fame and popularity have become. It's effortless to make a green screen video on YouTube Shorts, talk about something captivating, and gain millions of views. But some creators let that success go to their heads, acting as if they're invincible. Now let me be clear, Charlie Puth is far from one of those people. He's using his creativity and marketing skills to push his music into the spotlight. But there are so many others who think being popular online instantly makes them somebody. Take me, for example. I'm doing okay on YouTube, well enough to help pay for college. But in my everyday life, I'm as average as they come. I'm average at drawing, debate, sports, you name it. Social media is a strange world that builds illusions, and I believe that's part of why Charlie is facing backlash today. So, why has Charlie Puth been getting so much hate lately? Let's break it down into 3 main reasons. His music has become somewhat repetitive. While TikTok is a powerful tool for advertising, it's not sustainable for long-term fame. People have a distorted view of social media, often mistaking influencers for celebrities. When those influencers stop getting views, the public sees it as them falling off. But let's not forget, Charlie Puth is a genuine celebrity. Even so, expecting him to maintain the same level of viral success and views as his early years is unrealistic. Social media moves far too quickly, and its volatility makes it impossible for anyone to remain at the top forever.